Hello students, welcome to the lecture on digestion and excretion, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the digestive system, discuss the general structure of the digestive system, describe the regions of the digestive system, explain the excretory system. Let us start with our human digestive system. The human digestive system is a complex series of organs and glands that processes food. In order to use the food we eat, our body has to break the food down into smaller molecules that it can process. It also has to excrete waste. Most of the digestive organs, like the stomach and intestines, are tube-like and contain the food as it makes its way through the body. The digestive system is essentially a long twisting tube that runs from the mouth to the anus, plus a few other organs like the liver and pancreas that produce or store digestive chemicals. Our digestive system is uniquely designed to turn the food we eat into energy our body needs to survive. Here is how it works. Digestion is the process of breaking down food so that it's small enough to be absorbed and used by the body for energy or in other bodily functions. Food and drink must be changed into smaller molecules of nutrients to be absorbed into the blood and carried to cells throughout the body. Digestion is a process by which food and liquid are broken down into smaller parts so that the body can use them to build and nourish cells and to provide energy. Digestion involves a number of different stages. The first phase is known as the cephalic head phase. It starts before food has even entered our mouth. The sight, smell, taste, or even the thought of food will activate saliva in the mouth as well as digestive juices, which contain enzymes to break down food. Digestion involves the mixing of food, its movement through the digestive tract, and chemical breakdown of the large molecules of food into smaller molecules. Digestion begins in the mouth when we chew and swallow and is completed in the small intestine. The chemical process varies somewhat for different kinds of foods. The large, hollow organs of the digestive system contain muscle that enables their walls to move. The movement of organ walls can propel food and liquid and also can mix the contents within each organ. Typical movement of the esophagus, stomach and intestine is called peristalsis. The action of peristalsis looks like an ocean wave moving through the muscle. The muscle of the organ produces a narrowing and then propels the narrowed portion slowly down the length of the organ.
Have you ever thought what happens to the food we eat and where does it go? Let us try to understand this. The petrol or diesel that goes into the car gives it energy to run. Same way, our body needs energy to work. In car, this energy comes from petrol. From where does the body get energy to work? In the body, it comes from food and oxygen. We eat food that gives us energy to grow and work. Is the food we eat directly gets utilized to provide energy, or is it processed or changed before it is ready to be used by our body? The food we eat is made of big and complex particles. It needs to be broken down into small and simple substances so that our body can use the food. This process is called digestion. The digestive system converts the food into nutrients so that it can be used by each and every part of the body. It also is responsible for removing solid waste.
These waves of narrowing push the food and fluid in front of them through each hollow organ. The first major muscle movement occurs when food or liquid is swallowed. Although we are able to start swallowing by choice, once the swallow begins, it becomes involuntary and proceeds under the control of the nerves. The esophagus is the organ into which the swallowed food is pushed. It connects the throat above with the stomach below. At the junction of the esophagus and stomach, there is a ring-like valve closing the passage between the two organs. However, as the food approaches the closed ring, the surrounding muscle relaxes and allows the food to pass. The food then enters the stomach, which has three mechanical tasks to do. First, the stomach must store the swallowed food and liquid. This requires the muscle of the upper part of the stomach to relax and accept large volumes of swallowed material. The second job is to mix up the food, liquid and digestive juice produced by the stomach. The lower part of the stomach mixes these materials by its muscle action. The third task of the stomach is to empty its contents slowly into the small intestine. Once food is inside the mouth, the taste buds begin determining the chemicals within the food via their nerve endings in order to give up the taste, sensation of salt, sweet, sour or bitter. As our teeth chew and grind the food, breaking it down, it's mixed with saliva. This comprises many enzymes including salivary amylase, which begins to break down the long chains of starch found in foods such as bread, cereals, potatoes and pasta. Saliva also contains mucin, which moistens the food so it can pass easily through the digestive tract. After the food has been swallowed, it is carried down the esophagus, a muscular tube, towards the stomach. The esophagus can contract and relax in order to propel the food onwards, and each mouthful of food takes about 6 to reach the stomach once swallowed. The stomach is a sac made of muscle, and when it is empty, it has a volume of only 50 ml, but this can expand to hold up to 1.5 liters or more after a meal. The walls of the stomach are made of 3 different layers of muscle that allow it to churn food around and make sure it is mixed with the stomach's acidic digestive juices. The presence of hydrochloric acid in the stomach prevents the action of salivary amylase and helps to kill bacteria that might be present. The stomach also produces the enzyme pepsin, which breaks down proteins mostly found in meat, fish, eggs and dairy products. This is one of the most metabolically active organs in the body. It measures about 1.5 m and contains over 400 different species of bacteria that break down and utilize the undigested residues of our food, mostly dietary fibers. As the water contents move along the large intestine, water is absorbed and the final product is formed, which is stored in the rectum before secretion from the body. Single-celled organisms can't directly take in nutrients from their outside environment. Multicellular animals, with most of their cells removed from contact directly with the outside environment, have developed specialized structures for obtaining and breaking down their food. Animals depend on 2 processes, feeding and digestion. The digestive system uses mechanical and chemical methods to break down food into nutrient molecules that can be absorbed into the food. Once in the blood, the food molecules are routed to every cell in the animal's body. There are 2 types of animal body plans as well as 2 locations for digestion to occur. Sac-like plants are found in many invertebrates, which have a single opening for food intake and the discharge of waste. Vertebrates, the animal group humans belong to, use the more efficient tube within a tube plan with a food entering through one opening, the mouth, and waste leaving through another, the anus. The digestive tract is composed of the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small and large intestine and anus. Various other structures and organs such as the salivary glands and liver also aid in digestion. A few of the key structures are described below. Salivary glands. There are 3 sets of glands that drain saliva into the mouth. The saliva mixes with the food that is being chewed and it is swallowed with the food. Saliva, which has a high pH, is very important in maintaining the correct pH balance in the human and is a key component of human food. Therefore, the salivary glands in humans are extremely productive. An adult sheep, for example, may secrete over 25 liters of saliva per day. Esophagus. The esophagus is a long muscular tube that runs to the stomach. When feed is swallowed, muscle in the esophagus move the food to the rest of the system. Stomach. The stomach of ruminants greatly differs in the structure and function compared to monogastric dogs, pigs, horses, humans, etc. Monogastric have a relatively simple single-chambered stomach. Sheep, like other ruminants, have 3 additional chambers: reticulum, rumen and omasum. that feed passes through before reaching the true stomach abomasum. Reticulum. The reticulum is a blind pouch of the rumen that acts as a holding area for feed after it passes down the esophagus. The reticulum receives material coming into the digestive system and will trap large inedible objects. Rumen. The rumen is a very large muscular pouch which extends within the left side of the body cavity from the diaphragm to the pelvis. Omasum. The omasum is much smaller than the rumen. It grinds feed particles, digester coming from the rumen reticulum to reduce the particle size and to absorb excess moisture. As fermentation requires large amounts of fluid, it is important to recapture water to avoid dehydration. From the omasum, digester proceeds into the abomasum. Abomasum. The abomasum is called the true stomach. It functions in a similar manner as the stomach of a monogastric, including the production of acids to aid in digestion of certain feed components. Small intestine. The small intestine is the main site of absorption of nutrients that have bypassed the rumen. The small intestine is approximately 85 feet long in adult. Liver. The liver is a large organ, about 1.5% of an animal's live weight. It is located towards the front of the animal's body cavity, just behind the diaphragm. Large intestine. The mammalian large intestine consists of the cecum and the colon. Food for the most part consists of various organic macromolecules such as starch, proteins and fats. These molecules are polymers made of individual monomer units. Breaking these large molecules into smaller components involves movement, propels food through the digestive system, secretion, release of digestive juices in response to a specific stimulus, digestion, breakdown of food into molecular components small enough to cross the plasma membrane, absorption, passage of the molecules into the body interior and their passage throughout the body, elimination, removal of undigested food and waste. Three processes occur during what we loosely refer to as digestion. Digestion proper, which is the mechanical and chemical breakdown of food into particles, molecules small enough to pass into the blood. Absorption is the passage of food monomers into the bloodstream. Assimilation is the passage of the food monomers into body cells. The human digestive system is a coiled muscular tube 6 to 9 meters long when fully extended, stretching from the mouth to the anus. Several specialized compartments occur along this length: mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. Accessory digestive organs are connected to the main system by a series of ducts, salivary glands, parts of the pancreas and the liver and gallbladder biliary system. When we eat such things as bread, meat and vegetables, they are not in a form that the body can use as nourishment. Our food and drink must be changed into smaller molecules of nutrients before they can be absorbed into the blood and carried to cells throughout the body. Digestion is a process by which food and drink are broken down into their smallest parts so that the body can use them to build and nourish cells and to provide energy. The long continuous tube, that is the digestive tract, is about 9 meters in length. It opens to the outside at both ends, to the mouth at one end and through the anus at the other. Although there are variations in each region, the basic structure of the wall is the same throughout the entire length of the tube. The wall of the digestive tract has 4 layers or tunics: mucosa, submucosa, muscular layer, serous layer or serosa. Water and food particles are drawn in through one siphon to the gills where tiny hair-like cilia move the water and the food is caught in mucus on the gills. From there, the food mucus mixture is transported along a groove to the palms, which push it into the claim's mouth. The second chiffon carries away the water. The gills also draw oxygen from the water flow. In a wave-like movement called peristalsis, muscles propel food and liquid along the digestive tract. In general, there are 6 steps in the process of moving food and liquid through the digestive system. The first major muscle movement is swallowing food or liquid. The start of swallowing is voluntary, but once it begins, the process becomes involuntary and continues under the control of the nerves. The esophagus, which connects the throat above with the stomach below, is the first organ into which the swallowed food goes. If we knew there was poison hidden in our house, we would surely do everything possible to find and remove that poison. If we didn't, we and our family would slowly die. How would you find it? How would we remove it? We would probably figure out a system of searching and removing. That would be an excretory system. Our body does the same thing every day. Hidden throughout our body are dangerous poison that must be removed in order for it to survive. The process of excretion involves finding and removing waste materials produced by the body. The primary organs of excretions are the lungs, kidneys, and skin. Waste gases are carried by blood traveling through the veins to the lungs where respiration takes place. Dead cells and sweats are removed from the body through the skin, which is part of the integumentary system. Liquid waste is removed from the body through the kidneys, located beside the spine in our back within our rib cage. The kidneys are small, about 10 cm long, reddish-brown organs that are shaped like beans. The most radical treatment for kidney disease is a kidney transplant. Healthy people can live comfortably with only one kidney. Therefore, their other kidney can be donated to a person with kidney disease. The donor and patient must have very similar genetic structure in order for the patient to accept the new kidney without complication. The patient also receives anti-rejection drugs. During a kidney transplant operation, the healthy kidney is placed in the abdomen of the patient and attached to the blood vessels and bladder. The patient's original kidneys are not removed. Collect water and filter body fluids. Remove and concentrate waste products from body fluids and return other substances to body fluids as necessary for homeostasis. Eliminate excretory products from the body. Many invertebrates such as flatworms use a nephridium as their excretory organ. At the end of each blind tubule of the nephridium is a ciliated flame cell. As fluid passes down the tubule, solutes are reabsorbed and returned to the body fluids. The human excretory system functions to remove waste from the human body. This system consists of specialized structures and capillary networks that exist in the excretory process. The human excretory system includes the kidney and its functional unit, the nephron. The excretory activity of the kidney is modulated by specialized hormones that regulate the amount of absorption within the nephron. The human kidney are the major organs of bodily excretion. They are bean-shaped organs located on either side of the backbone at about the level of the stomach and liver. Blood enters the kidneys through renal arteries and leaves through renal veins. Tubes called ureters carry waste products from the kidneys to the urinary bladder for storage or for release. The functional and structural unit of the kidney is the nephron. Nephron produces urine and is the primary unit of homeostasis in the body. It is essentially a long tubule with a series of associated blood vessels. The upper end of the tubule is an enlarged cup-like structure called the Bowman's capsule. Below the Bowman's capsule, the tubule coils to form the proximal tubule, and then it follows a hairpin turn called the loop of Henle. After the loop of Henle, the tubule coils once more as the distal tubule. It then enters a collecting duct, which also receives urine from other distal tubules. The activity of the nephron in the kidney is controlled by a person's choices, environment, as well as hormones. For example, if a person consumes large amounts of protein, much urea will be in the blood from the digestion of the protein. Also, on a hot day, a body will retain water for sweating and cooling, so the amount of urine is reduced. Humans produce a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, ADH, also known as vasopressin, which is secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. It regulates the amount of urine by controlling the rate of water absorption in the nephron tubules.
In human beings, a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, and a bladder represents the excretory system. The nitrogenous end product in a man is urea. The kidney is a bean-shaped red-colored organ. Kidneys are attached to the doors of the body wall on either side of the vertebral column in the abdominal cavity. Its outer margin is convex and its inner margin is concave. The notch present in the inner margin is called hilus. The renal artery, which brings blood to the kidney from the heart, enters the kidney through the hilus. Each ureter is a thin wall tube. The interior of a ureter is wide and is called the pelvis. The ureters open into the urinary bladder. Urine is stored in the bladder till it's filled, and then it is sent out through a canal called the urethra. On top of each kidney, an adrenal gland is present. Adrenal glands have nothing to do with excretion. Now let's understand the structure of a kidney. The outer region of the kidney is deep red in color and is called as cortex. The inner region is light red colored and is called the medulla. In the medulla, there are 9 to 12 inverted pyramid-like structures with broad base towards the cortex and narrow end towards the pelvis. These extend into the pelvis. The broad end of each pyramid is branched and resembles the sepals of a flower. Hence, these are called calyces. Through calyces, urine reaches funnel-like ducts and from there goes into the pelvis. From the pelvis, urine goes to the ureters.
Excretory system regulate the chemical composition of body fluids by removing metabolic waste and retaining the proper amounts of water, salts and nutrients. Components of this system in vertebrates include the kidneys, liver, lungs and skin. Not all animals use the same routes or excrete their waste the same way humans do. Excretion applies to metabolic waste products that cross a plasma membrane. Elimination is the removal of feces. The ability of the kidneys to regulate extracellular fluid volume by altering sodium excretion is important for maintaining adequate volume. Metabolism produces toxic byproducts. Perhaps the most troublesome is the nitrogen-containing waste from the metabolism of proteins and nucleic acids. Nitrogen is removed from these nutrients when they are broken down for energy or when they are converted to carbohydrates or fats. Nitrogenous waste product is ammonia, a small and very toxic molecule. Some animals excrete their ammonia directly. Others first convert it to less toxic waste such as urea or uric acid. We shall see that the form of nitrogenous waste an animal excretes depends on both the animal's evolutionary history and its habitat. Ammonia. Most aquatic animals excrete nitrogenous waste as ammonia. Ammonia molecules are small and very nitrogenous waste. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. The human digestive system is a complex series of organs and glands that processes food. Digestion is a process of breaking down food so that it's small enough to be absorbed and used by the food for energy or in other bodily function. The first major muscle movement occurs when food or liquid is swallowed. The esophagus is the organ into which the swallowed food is pushed. Once food is in the mouth, the taste buds begin determining the chemicals within the food via their nerve endings in order to give us the taste sensation of salt, sweet, sour or bitter. The digestive system uses mechanical and chemical methods to break food down into nutrient molecules that can be absorbed into the blood. The human excretory system functions to remove waste from the human body. The human kidney are the major organs of bodily excretion.